Most people are lazy. Most people are not going to do much in their lives. so,
All right, man.
And listen, this is how it's always been. Like this kid she's talking about right now has always been this way throughout history. Before they probably beat some kid up and made the kid write the essay for them. They didn't do it themselves. They had ChatGPT back then. It was a human being. They beat them up.
just beat up the kid next door.
That's it.
Beat up your local nerd.
Exactly.
Million people have seen it, Hannah. Probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
A former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids, probably until they go to college.
Hannah is a former teacher.
So I'm curious to what age that she's talking about these kids. I assume she's talking about like middle schoolers because they're writing letters and resumes. I know elementary school kids aren't writing that.
I was thinking high school for the resume thing. But
that's true. Yeah, but I can't disagree with her on that. I've never taught kids, so I have no idea what it's like teaching kids in a classroom, but I do have some friends that have taught in a classroom. I actually had one previous coworker who used to be a teacher, and she was telling me that like the biggest issue with being a teacher is the fact that you have to deal with the parents and the fact that the parents don't want to teach the children. So I could kind of understand how like now it's like technology is teaching a lot of the kids and the kids aren't learning from people and they're not learning how to do things themselves. And I know from the outside that might be fine with everybody else, but like what happens when you don't have technology? What happens when you don't have internet connection? What happens when people start getting accustomed to these things and they want a real life person from their own perspective and not from ChatGPT?
Yeah, good points. Here's my thing. First of all, I want to know where she's teaching at. Is it an underserved community? Is it a well-to-do, affluent community? I'm curious because I know that's going to make a difference in the whole. When I hear people say, oh, these kids don't know how to read, typically they're referring to an underserved community. But in this situation, since she's talking about technology being a factor, it may not be the case. Listen, technology is going to advance. It always has. That's the good thing about being humans. We always advance. We get better. Before people had calculators, they did math by hand, right? No one said, okay, give her the calculators. These students aren't learning how to do math by hand anymore. They're using a calculator. No, I think there's a transition period. Technology is rapidly increasing, much greater than it was before. And we have to find a way to integrate it to where we're not dumbing ourselves down. That's the issue. And maybe, like she said, the solution is to delay that technology in schools until a later age, perhaps. I don't know the solution, but I don't think that it should be cut off completely forever, obviously. And she's not saying that. But yeah, I think that we have to figure out a way, and we will eventually because we're humans. We figure out ways to do things that work, to integrate stuff like AI into education. It'll happen eventually. We're just not there yet, clearly.
And she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Yeah, now that I thought about it more and hear her talk more, I think it should be delayed because now critical thinking and reading are two separate things. Critical thinking does develop a little bit later. It has to be taught and kind of nurtured, and I get that, and that'll come. But if you're not able to read, it just hit me. That's kind of crazy. If you're a parent and your kid does not know how to read because all they do is get read to by technology, that's a problem. So I definitely think that starts in the house, and parents have to fix that because your kids have to know how to read. Basic reading skills.
Yeah. So I definitely want to commend her for coming out and saying that because that does take a lot of confidence to do it. Because I know a lot of people would be scared to do it. They feel like they would never get hired at another job. Because typically when you speak out, employers look at it and they're like, all right, well, you spoke out against that company. You might speak out against my company. Yeah. I don't know if I want to hire you or not. So I definitely want to say that we commend her for that. In terms of critical thinking, yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot lot of kids are missing these days. I know I might sound like a boomer when I say that, but it's just certain things like common sense. Like I remember one time I walked into Walmart and this kid, I kid you not, was working registers and doing TikTok dances at the same time. Why? Like stuff like that, like
culture.
But here's the thing, even when I was, because listen, as a teenager, yes, I worked at a grocery store. Probably half the, people our age did that, right? And that would have never came across in my head. And we had smartphones back then. It's not like we had it's not like it was like the 90s. You had those giant phones. Like we had smartphones, we had Facebook, we had social media.
It wasn't like TikTok though, bro.
I know it wasn't like TikTok, but there's no thought in my idea would have been like, all right, you know what I gotta do? I gotta start doing the Macarena right now. Like no one's in line. Like it's just like certain things that are like common sense that are common sense not to do is like not common sense anymore. Like there are kids that would fight managers on that. Like, oh, I can't do TikToks while I'm at work. No, you're at work.
So I'll agree with half of what you said. I think you're right. The common sense is missing, to be honest. And let's be honest too. I'll say this. She's not mentioning this part, but a lot of these schools now have a indoctrination component to it. So these kids are being fed a whole bunch of
goggly goo, giggly goo.
Yeah, some things. So there's that too. But what I will agree with you is that even though the technology is available, you still have to have common sense enough to know, okay, I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm at work. I shouldn't be doing the TikTok dance while I'm at the register. When I go home, I'm free to do that. When I'm at work, I should be professional. Even at a grocery store, be professional. So I think that's just a matter of not having parenting to put them in place. They're just kind of free for all. They do whatever they want.
Mother who taught for 33 years. My sister's a teacher in South Carolina. The challenges that y'all deal with, this is even before AI was a thing. I'm sure it's even more challenging now. And clearly your opinion is, yes, it is. You're a high school teacher. I'm sure your students loved you. We hate to see someone leave education because of problems within the classroom. Give me some examples of what the students are saying to you.
Well, a lot of students, and I do want to be clear, I taught a lot of very motivated and bright children. And so I don't want this to come off as if this is all the kids' fault. But I do know that a lot of times in my English classroom, I would ask them to write down a short response or just 5 sentences to answer a question. And a lot of times it would be about 2.5 sentences. And they would say, well, I can't think of anything else to say. Or, well, why do I have to answer in complete sentences? Like you get the point from what I'm saying in just this little sentence. And then a lot of times I would assign essays, long form essays. And I know how children write, especially when they handwrite me things in the beginning of the school year. And so when a student, how I know how they write typically would give me a very eloquently and thorough essay on a topic that I know that normally wouldn't come from them, I would ask them, was this really you? And I'd run it through an AI generator. And of course it would say 100% ChatGPT or AI. And I would speak to the student and they would more so question of, well, if I have to redo this, how much is it really going to affect my grade? Can I just take the zero?
Gosh, trying to take the easy way out. Yeah.
Right.
Is it promoting just a laziness among our children?
I suppose. And a lot of them are just feeling as though they don't really need to do the work anymore because AI will just do it for them.
Right.
And I think that AI...
Listen, most people are bums anyway. They are. Most people are bums. Most people are lazy. Most people are not going to do much in their lives. So,
all right, man.
And listen, this is how it's always been. Like this kid she's talking about right now has always been this way throughout history. Before they probably beat some kid up and made the kid write the essay for them. They didn't do it themselves. They had ChatGPT back then. It was a human being. They beat them up.
just beat up the kid next door.
That's it.
Beat up your local nerd.
Exactly. Like, this is not new. There's nothing new under the sun. Technology is new. Human beings are the same. So that same guy is going to be doing the same thing he was been doing back 20 years ago, 10 years from now, when he graduates, whoever, or girl, whoever it is. So
yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely agree. I think technology has just helped people become extra lazy, and it's natural in human nature to be lazy.
It is natural. Yeah.
It is natural. So I mean, I don't necessarily blame kids because I think when I was at that age, I didn't want to write essays either.
Yeah.
But just taking a zero is kind of wild. That's like you're definitely like, yo, I just give up. I'm done. So that kind of makes me. That goes back into the parenting though.
Yeah, it does go to the parenting.
Because if your kid's just willing to take a zero, that means you're probably not enforcing education in your house.
Absolutely.
So that's probably like priority zero.
Exactly.
When I came home, I told my mom, "Hey, mom, I just took a zero." Like,
right. And I was trying to be funny a second ago. I mean, tongue in cheek or whatever. I don't really think everyone's a bum. I think that, like you just said, it goes back. I can't really blame the kids too much. I mean, it depends on their age. If you're a high schooler,
yeah, I mean, you should know. You should have common sense,
right? But I mean, it starts at the house, and like you said, it starts with standards. So if your standards from your parents are like, "Oh, don't worry about this essay, go, I don't know, whatever," then I can see why the kid is like that. So, and like you said, it does tap into the natural human nature to be kind of
And it's funny because I was talking to an older person, and then they're like, the things that we have to do now to find information is so easy, and people still like. You have some people that still don't want to use a navigator, that still don't want to use their phone GPS, and they're like, "Well, I need you to tell me the directions to it." Go inside the GPS. You have a GPS. There's some people that don't want to do it, and then back in the day, they would have had to MapQuest and all the other
Or a
stuff
whole
like that.
map. This reminds me, I'm really not that old. I'm like, I'm the millennial.
He's 81.
Well, not now. I think I was born in 1981 when I wasn't. But actually, it'll tell you that I'm not the old. 'Cause I can't remember what it's even called. It's just I know it was transitioning back when I was like in elementary school. In the library, you had to go pull like a card to look something up. I can't remember what it was. It was like a system.
A library card?
No, not a card. No, to go pull something out of like to find something to locate it. I can't see. I'm too young to remember what it even was. I just remember that was a thing that was being phased out and they moved to something else at that time.
Was it digital?
It wasn't digital. No,
Oh.
it was like manual. I guess my point is what I said earlier. Like I'm not anti-technology. I think that is meant to make us better and more efficient.
Yeah.
The problem is whenever we just abuse it to not think and not reason and not, to be lazy.
Yeah.
But we use it to like, do things better and faster. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. But it's not there yet.
Yeah, so ultimately, guys, I'm going to say she made a good decision speaking out. I think it's great. I wish more teachers would speak out. And I think that the teachers that do speak out, there shouldn't be any repercussions about it because, this is needed because at the end of the day, these people are teaching the new youth. These are the new young adults that are coming out. So that's the thing. Like, I know it's easy for us to poke fun at like Gen Z and, well, I'm technically kind of in the middle of that, but it's easy for us to kind of like poke fun at the younger generation, like Gen Alpha and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, these are the people that are going to end up taking care of us. So, people have to use, I don't know. I just think that people should put more focus onto it. I feel like not enough focus is focused on the youth and what they're currently teaching in schools. I think that's going to the wayside and then people are just assuming when they're older, they'll figure it out. And now it's become more apparent that people just aren't figuring it out. All right, guys. So if you think she made a good decision, leave a like, leave a comment. If you think she made a bad decision, leave a like, leave a comment. All right, decision makers, stay in school.